Deborah Hersman in San Francisco this morning. Thank you so much for joining us, Ms. Chairman. And let me begin with where David just ended. Do we have any information about that victim on the tarmac being run over by perhaps an emergency vehicle?
You know, what we know is after an accident that there's a lot of chaos. This is a very serious issue. We've heard some conflicting reports about what actually occurred. And so what we need to do is conduct interviews of the first responders as well as the passengers, and also review any video that might help us understand what happened here.
So no conclusion on that yet. What more can you tell us about the crash itself?
Well, what we do know, we got some very good information from the cockpit voice recorder and the flight data recorder. That information really shares with everyone about what the final moments for the crew were as they were descending into San Francisco.
We also know from the head of Asiana that there was no evidence of a mechanical failure. You've ruled out any kind of criminal activity at all. So does that leave anything but pilot error here?
Well, I think certainly in our investigations, what we know is sometimes what we find out in the first few minutes, few hours, few days of an accident is really very preliminary information. It's trying to put together all the facts to really help us get a complete picture. We need to understand if there was anything going on. You remember that 777 event in Heathrow years ago? That was something that we really needed time to make sure that we understood what was happening with the fuel system. I think in this case, we want to reserve judgment before we have all the facts.
Have you spoken to the pilots yet?
Our team is working to conduct interviews with the pilots. We're hopeful that that'll happen within the next 24 hours.
Any concern that the pilot at the controls may not have had enough training?
You know, that's one of the things that we look at in our investigations. We see accidents that occur with very experienced pilots, and we see accidents that occur with pilots that have little experience. And so we want to understand what kind of experience the pilots had, what was going on. And again, we will focus on the communications between the two crew members. Crew resource management is very important when you have two people working together to make sure that that effort is safe and seamless.
Chairman Hersman, thanks very much for your time this morning.
Thank you.